Hey guys, welcome back to the Prehistoric Life Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Crawford, and today we're going to dive on in with today's episode. Wow, can't speak English apparently. Um, we're going to talk about the Triceratops family tree, starting with the Marginocerophalia, which then breaks off into Pachycephalosauri and then actual ceratopsians. But we're going to focus only on the ceratopsians. So you're going to start off with Ceratopsia, of course, and you have like uh, Pit, Pitsnocosaurida, which is Pitsnocosaurus, and there's actually a lot of them. They may or may not be all related, which is actually very fun and very interesting to think about. Then you kind of move on to that from that Protoceratopsian, the Chine, the Chiangosauridia, and you get some, more not necessarily ceratopsian, but you start to form that beakish kind of thing. Although I think some of the some have that beakish like build, but not quite yet. But you keep going, you get some more kind of similar generic builds, Archaeoceratops, and you get some more. They start to become more quadrupedal. This one looks like it's going down to be quadrupedal. These are definitely turning quadrupedal. Asiaceratops, and you got this fella, which isn't quite quadrupedal, possibly bi quadro. And you have Leptoceratopsids. That's fun. Helioceratops, Leptoceratops. You get some definitely quadrupedal looking things. Protoceratops maybe here. I don't think quite yet. I think that's somewhere else. Yeah, that's somewhere else. But you get in the Chronosauria. These are They are like officially quadrupedal. This one isn't depicted as such, but I'm guessing that is a bad depiction, but significant. And then enlargement of frill and large skull, obligate quadrupedal. This is Chronosauria. As you can see, that's like Protoceratops, where you now have the ceratopsian build with the frill. I'll go back to Proto. With the frill, it's starting to form the horn. I think you can see the mouse. Or it's got the ooh, that's not what I want to do. Where it's got that frill there. As you can see. I guess I can't. It's got this frill here. I'm just trying to circle that out basically, and it's starting to form that horn. It's quadrupedal. Yeah, you keep going. Ceratopsidia, in large size. Kind of. This is probably not the best to start off with because it doesn't give you much. But Zuniceratops. Yeah, that's ceratopsian. That's what we all depict as ceratopsian. It's very, very generically ceratopsian. The next one too, Tyrannoceratops. It just looks like a Triceratops without the nose horn. I mean, come on. Ceratopsidia, Ceratops montanus, not really the best depiction there. Then you get to go a little crazy with the horns, some break off. Dysganus, very, very fun creature. Very, very elaborate looking horns sometimes. The possibility apparently of them being curved. Yeah, again, Polyonyx, just Ceratopsidia. Then we get to Centrosaurine and Chasmosaurine. This is where it actually breaks off and gets more abstract and unique. So Centrosaurine are, well, Ceratopsidia, even larger size, nasal horn, sharing dental battery, double rooted teeth, increase in numbers of tooth positions, epocod, epoc, pital bones, long frill, interior cervix fused into sinocervix. We're gonna start off with. I'll go top first. Chasmosaurine, long, shallower snouts, enlarged rostery, rostral, rostral, and longer frill. So you get some very Chasmosaurian. If you know what a Chasmosaurus is, it is a very box-headed. That sounds very insulting. Looking thing. They got these very square-like frills. Actually, this is a good example of one. And this is probably an older design for like a Triceratops, but this very square like frill is very unique for Chasmosaurians. That's kind of where they get that. It's probably a little better of a that very square headed look. That's kind of the signature for Chasmosaurians. If you look at all of these ones with an actual frill, they all look very square, very cubed. Vagaceratops is it's a little bit more V-shaped. This one looks a little folded down. But like they are very cubey. This one's very square, very square. Not really all there. Kind of rhyming here. Fairly square, Triceratopsians, but then they kind of round off, I guess. Well, even Triceratops to a degree is very. You got Hortus and Peroris based on the horns primarily. Hornus is this one is Hornus. This one is Peroris. I think I tried to put them in the right side. You can tell by the horn, the way the horn is. If you can, I don't actually know if y'all can see the mouse, but if you zoom in on the horn, this little one with the like gap is Hortus, and the one that looks like it's just arching is Peroris. But yeah, the Ceratopsians start to get that more rounded frill. Torosaurus, Triceratops has got that rounded frill. You come up to here, you get some more Chasmosaurus itself with that very square frill. But we're gonna come back down here to Centrosaurine. They have short, deep snouts. Pair of spike-like thingies projecting from their frill, eptoseptals. So that these thingies up here on its frill. This is Diabloceratops, the devil ceratops. You get some more. These guys all have very. Well, maybe not that one. That one's not complete. They're all very bumpy, spiky. They're a little cubical, but they're also a lot more rounded looking. As you can see, it's like rounded. Now Nasutoceratops was a chaos theory, but it's got a little rounded. Some unnamed ones. Those are Nasutoceratopsians. Xenoceratops, very rounded. You get some. Here's the new Loki ceratops. Those big old blades coming out of their skull. Medusa ceratops, Albertoceratops, Sinoceratops itself, Windy ceratops, which I'm assuming is Wendigo ceratops, because these are all kind of named after. Some of these are named after. Like, I guess this could be like Xenomorph ceratops. Loki ceratops is a little on the nose. Wendiceratops, Wendigo ceratops. Sinoceratops, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's something there. Albertoceratops is Alberta, Canada. And then Medusa ceratops is named after Medusa. But it's also Loki, so you get the Eotorosaura, The nasal horn enlarged. Posterior horns reduce. Centrosaurine. So you get that very Rubinosaurus and then Styracosaurus, where it's very big old jagged horns on the back of its head, very rounded frill, and a very sharp, long spear of a horn. Chronosaurus, yeah, Spinops, Centrosaurus itself. These very, very. Ooh, I didn't mean to do that. Very, very obvious where they kind of see this big jagged horns, very rounded frill. This one is a very unique one. Inosaurus, uh, Archilosaurinihornis. These are Pachyrhinosaurinia. You have Pachyrhinosaurus itself, all based on its own thing. Those very lump-nosed kind of fellas. Shout out to Max. If he's watching this for whatever reason, here's your boys. But yeah, that's the very generic breakdown of the Ceratopsian family. Ooh, I didn't mean to zoom out that far. The very Ceratopsian family tree. Give y'all a look at that one. That's the Ceratopsian family tree. I'm your host, Eric Crawford. That's really all from me. But if you want to see some of these amazing creatures, Dinosaur Trips is where it's at, man. I'm going to just let sponsor me take it away, man. Thanks, Podcast Eric. Now let's talk about today's sponsor, Dinosaur Trips. If you love looking at these amazing creatures that I show you, and even talking about these amazing creatures that I talk about, and you want to go see them in real life, I heavily suggest you look at Dinosaur Trips. Dinosaur Trips, created by Zach, gives you behind-the-scenes in-look at museums, and he even takes people out to digs. So if you sound interested in that, go to www.dinosaurtrips.com and tell them that Prehistoric Life sent you, and they will give you $250 off your tickets. And here's their Instagram if you're interested in giving them a follow. So yeah, that's all from me for right now. If you want to see more content from me, go check out my other content places. Go check out my Instagram. You should all know it, Prehistoric Life Podcast. From there you can get to pretty much anywhere. You can also get to this dinosaur family tree itself. But I post a lot of extra content. I post upcoming weekly things. I post additional whatever. Just go give it a follow. If you want to see my content early-ish, 2-ish days in advance, go check out my YouTube, Prehistoric Life Podcast. Of course, you can see all of the other dinosaur family tree sections. And I try to post 2-ish days in advance there. And if you want all of my content in one place, go check out my website. From there, you can get to my YouTube and my Instagram. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you can see my Instagram too. But that's all from me. I'm your host, Eric Crawford, signing off. This has been Prehistoric Life Podcast. Remember, keep it prehistoric. Bye.